Angelic Doctor Thomas Aquinas. Thomas Aquinas is called the Angelic Doctor because of the clarity and purity associated with his thought. The title was already used shortly after his death. It reflects both his theological depth and his emphasis on the harmony between faith and reason. He was a Dominican friar in the 13th century. His most important works are the Summa Theologiae and the Summa Contra Gentiles. In them, he organized Christian doctrine into a coherent system. He relied heavily on Scripture, the Church Fathers, and especially Aristotle. But he did not simply repeat philosophy. He used it carefully to explain Christian revelation. Aquinas taught that grace does not destroy nature but perfects it. He explained how human reason can know certain truths about God, while revelation is needed for mysteries such as the Trinity and the Incarnation. He developed precise explanations of the Eucharist, including the doctrine of transubstantiation. He also gave the Church a structured account of natural law, virtue, and moral theology. He was canonized in 1323. In 1567, Pope Pius V declared him a doctor of the Church. In 1879, Pope Leo XIII strongly promoted his theology in the encyclical Aeterni Patris, encouraging its use in Catholic education. Aquinas remains one of the most authoritative theological voices in Catholic tradition. Seraphic Doctor Bonaventure. Bonaventure was a Franciscan theologian and contemporary of Aquinas. He is called the Seraphic Doctor because his theology emphasizes burning love for God. The word seraphic refers to the seraphim, the highest order of angels associated with divine love. His theology is deeply Augustinian. While Aquinas worked systematically, Bonaventure focused more on the soul's ascent to God. His well-known work, The Journey of the Mind to God, describes the spiritual path as a movement from creation through Christ into union with God. For Bonaventure, theology begins in faith and moves toward wisdom. Knowledge is not only intellectual, it must lead to love. He stressed that Christ is the center of history and the center of all knowledge. Creation itself reflects divine wisdom and leads the mind back to its source. He was canonized in 1482. In 1588, Pope Sixtus V declared him a doctor of the Church. Bonaventure's theology integrates intellect and devotion. It presents doctrine not as theory but as a path to holiness. Subtle Doctor John Duns Scotus. John Duns Scotus earned the title Subtle Doctor because of the precision and complexity of his reasoning. He was also a Franciscan and wrote in the late 13th and early 14th centuries. His theology is known for careful distinctions. One of his major contributions is the defense of the Immaculate Conception of the Virgin Mary. He argued that Mary was preserved from original sin by the merits of Christ applied in advance. This reasoning later supported the formal dogmatic definition in 1854. Scotus also emphasized the primacy of Christ. He taught that the Incarnation was not merely a response to sin but part of God's original plan. According to this view, Christ would have become incarnate even if humanity had not fallen. He developed the idea of haexiety, or thisness, to explain individuality in created beings. His philosophical and theological method influenced later scholastic thought. He was beatified in 1993 by Pope John Paul II. In 2016, Pope Francis formally declared him a doctor of the Church. Scotus is important for his defense of Marian doctrine and his strong Christ-centered theology. Dr. Eximius Francisco Suarez. Francisco Suarez was a Spanish Jesuit theologian of the late 16th and early 17th centuries. The title Dr. Eximius means outstanding doctor. It recognizes his exceptional influence in theology and philosophy. He worked during the Counter-Reformation. His writings address metaphysics, law, grace, and church authority. His Disputations Metaphysicae became widely used in European universities, even outside Catholic institutions. In theology, Suarez contributed to debates about grace and free will. He sought to clarify how divine sovereignty and human freedom coexist. In political theory, he argued that political authority ultimately comes from God but is mediated through the community. This influenced later Catholic social thought. Suarez has not been declared a doctor of the Church. The title Dr. Eximius is honorary, reflecting historical respect rather than an official designation. His work shaped both Catholic theology and early modern philosophy. Dr. Mellifluus Bernard of Clairvaux. Bernard of Clairvaux is called the Dr. Mellifluus, meaning honey-sweet doctor, because of the beauty and warmth of his preaching. He was a Cistercian abbot and a major spiritual leader in the 12th century. His sermons on the Song of Songs focus on divine love and union with Christ. His theology is monastic and contemplative rather than scholastic. Bernard strongly emphasized devotion to Christ's humanity and to the Virgin Mary. He also played an active role in church affairs, advising popes and intervening in theological disputes. He was canonized in 1174. In 1830, Pope Pius VIII declared him a doctor of the Church. Bernard represents the mystical and effective dimension of medieval theology. Dr. Caritatis, Catherine of Siena. Catherine of Siena is known as Dr. Caritatis, meaning Doctor of Charity. The title reflects her teaching on divine love and her commitment to church unity. Her main work, the Dialogue, presents a theological meditation on God's mercy, Christ's redemptive sacrifice, and the need for obedience within the church. She spoke clearly about reform, calling clergy and laity to holiness. She lived during the Western Schism and worked for the unity of the church, urging the Pope to return to Rome from Avignon. Her influence was spiritual, not political in the modern sense. She believed unity with the Pope was part of fidelity to Christ. She was canonized in 1461. In 1970, Pope Paul VI declared her a Doctor of the Church, the first woman to receive that title. Her theology centers on charity as the foundation of Christian life and ecclesial unity.